Thank you so much, Gineyda, for joining us for Hispanic Heritage Month. So this series, we're going to ask a few folks questions about the industry in relation to Latin America or Latin artists here in the US. So before we get started, can you give us a brief introduction as to who you are? And then we can hop into those questions.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month as a fellow Latina that focuses a lot on moving la cultura forward. My love for music started at a very young age, and I'm currently feel like I'm doing, my dream job, being able to head Latin for the music streaming and discovery platform Audiomack. I focus not only on the diaspora, but also all of Latin America, and I am super excited to be here today and for you to get to know me a little bit more.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So my name is Marvin. I'm a marketing specialist on the US Latin American side for Songtrust. And I've been with the company for about 2 years. Same thing as you, just wanted to make sure that we're voicing what we need to voice and plugging in the folks that are actually creating music at the moment. Songtrust is a publishing administrative service, so that means that we help artists connect to their publishing royalties without extra hands in their pockets. So that's definitely something that resonates with me, and I know it resonates with a lot of people when it comes down to collecting the royalties. So let's get into the first question. What specific features or tools does Audiomack offer that are tailored to support Latin American artists, musicians, and how can you use that to expand their fan base and their streaming numbers?
So as you can see here, we have recently launched the Creator app. It's our app specifically for artists and all creators. Within this app, we have a lot of cool functions. Like I said before, we focus a lot on helping artists, like holding their hand throughout their creative journey from the beginning of their career all the way to the point that, they become those superstars see and hear everywhere. So a lot of cool things that we have right now. We recently launched what we call the Connect tab, which is a really cool feature within the Creator app where artists can actually do just that, connect with their fans, with their followers within the app. So they can send messages to artists, anything from, thanking them for their support, sending out links to their latest release, sending out links for, their tour or to get merch, anything really. Like the possibilities are endless, but it's just another tool to be able to, you know, um, connect more with their fans and just have more of that close relationship with their fan base. And also for like emerging artists that may not have the funds yet to be able to do, big marketing campaigns, we also have promote tab within the Creator app as well, which basically is free assets where you can literally do that, promote your releases. These are like already generated, and you could put them on your socials and just invite your fan base to go listen and stream your music on Audiomack.
Awesome. That sounds great because I know that a lot of artists nowadays they want more control of what they can do, right? There's a big push towards becoming an independent artist. So now that a lot of artists are taking reins of their careers, I feel like this is very important because at the end of the day, they can actually know where the data is coming from, or if they need to push something, they'll have the tools to be able to do it instead of having to look for it on a different platform or paying something else somewhere else. So I think it's great what you guys are doing.
Yeah, and so another really exciting thing that I'm like actually announcing for the first time is that we're also going to add a feature. It's sponsored songs.
Mm,
So within Audiomack, you have the possibility to be able to monetize directly on the platform if you don't have a distribution deal with one of our partners, and you will be able to use those what we call our AMP balances, which
mhm.
is the monetization that you receive from streaming. You'll have like an account basically where instead of choosing for it to go to your bank account, you could use some of those funds to sponsor your songs. And a lot of times people think, oh my God, like doing ads for your songs or for your projects is so bad. Like, no, like when you're watching something on a streaming platform, you get those commercials, you know? So it's opportunity for artists to be able to add a commercial and sponsor their music and reach a different audience that, you know, might not get the opportunity to listen to your music because maybe, you know, they want to listen to bachata and funk, a Brazilian funk. But in this case, it opens the opportunity to tap into new audiences. So we're also super excited for that feature and, you know, continue to grow and find new ways to be able to help creators.
Awesome. In-house is always amazing. Always amazing, I would say. Like you said, so there's no transfer around or any extra movement. You can do it all in-house. So that's amazing. Marketing is very important. I know a lot of people still haven't focused on that, but once they become, you know, second step, third step creators, they'll start to see that these tools are very, very helpful at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So I have another great question. So Audiomack works with a lot of Latin artists, right? So what are some of the Latin American artists that you guys are currently pushing, and what are the current strategies that you're using for them specifically?
Yeah, so I think for me, like one of the things that I'm most passionate about is that it's helping artists. From a young age, desde chiquita, yo sabía that I wanted to work in music, specifically in the Latin music industry. You know, I was raised in Massachusetts. So a
Awesome.
lot of people would tell me, like, hey, you speak English, you know, like Anglo side, why don't you go work for the Anglo music industry? But, you know, I'm Dominican and Puerto Rican. So I always credit my love for music, which I got a tattoo in Puerto Rico to symbolize that, to
Amazing.
a trip that I took to the island when I was 11 years old, and that's when I fell in love with reggaeton. And from there, immediately I went and I started searching what this was, you know, and all these artists at the time when these streaming apps didn't exist, when it was, you had to go on blingblineo.net and floja.com to know what the latest release was, you know, and you had to burn your CDs and create your own mixtape. So that's the era that I come from. And I knew that growing up, that's what I wanted to do. So being able to help artists in this position, it's my passion. So I always look for that next star. Currently, you know, actually for Hispanic Heritage Month, we're about to release 10 Latin artists that you need to hear. So that's kind of like our stamp of approval. I can let you know some of them is like Jade Say. I've been watching him since last year and seeing like the boom that he's had so far. I feel like, you know, his music is street music, but I feel like he's next up when it comes to Puerto Rico. Other artists that I'm really into is like Loyo Lobos. She's more like indie pop. I love her sound. She's eclectic and versatile. So really enjoy what she's doing and looking forward to seeing her, you know, grow as well. But some of the artists that we have seen success stories with is like Jay Wheeler, for example. He's one of our biggest success stories because we were the first platform to support him back in 2019 and a content series that's called Fine Tuned. And it's like our most viewed content overall on YouTube with like over 100 million views.
Yeah.
And we know now like the global superstar that Jay Wheeler is in this
Yes.
given moment. So like, you know, it's like very proud moment for us. Another artist that we've supported a lot and we've seen his tremendous growth as well is Young Chimmy. You know, did Prende la Cabina with him, and that was very successful, and he blew up. And recently, in May of this year, we did our content series called Up Now, where we were able to like see more of him, and he was able to share his story. And you know, like I said, we love supporting artists and we love finding ways to support them, and that's kind of like what's unique about us as well. We also have original content series to
Right.
be able to, you know, support the artists along their career path.
Awesome. That sounds great. One quick question about that. How can someone be able to apply for something like the content series if they're what are the requirements? What would someone need to be able to be in someone's radar at Audiomack to be able to pursue this?
Yeah, I think the unique thing about us is that we're literally all curators. We're all literally music lovers, and we're there sitting down, listening to the music, and just finding what we love and what we could feel passionate for, and really like give them that stamp of approval. So a lot of times I'm a workaholic, I'm
Mhm.
nonstop. So I'll go to an event and I'll have artists come up to me and talk to me. I have my DMs, they reach out to me through DMs, and I see all that. But aside from that, just the best way is pitch, pitch
Right.
your music to my email, or we also have within the app, we have a function where you can apply to trend your music, and we go through that and we listen to the music, and if your music is good and we believe in you, then we're gonna find ways to support you.
That's amazing. That's something that a lot of people don't do. So just wanted to point that out. Some folks have to have a specific rubric, right? A requirement, minimum requirement. So basically, Audiomack, they're looking for talent, right? And this is kind of like a traditional way of A&R, right? You see talent, you're promoting talent instead of waiting for them to pop off on social media, pop off on streaming platforms. So you're able to make that push, which is very great because nowadays a lot of the work is on the artist instead of on the companies or what have you. So there has to be a balance, which is amazing. One other thing I did want to say, Blimblineo, flowhot.net, those were crazy times. Metadata was looking very funny back in those days. So it's funny that you mentioned that because those were times where music didn't have as much licensing. Laws were a little bit different. So now there's a change that can be said for either something good or something bad, right? It depends on you see it. But now there's certain things like downloads, right? And streams where you can get paid off of it. Where before it was just for notoriety, right? People know you, they'll
Yeah.
download the songs. Good times for a lot of
I
us.
was guilty of that, but it's I didn't know at the time. There was this thing called LimeWire where I was
Yeah,
able to get the music,
definitely.
and we've definitely come a long way, and I'm very
Right,
grateful that now in my own way, I'm giving back
right,
by
right.
being able to work for a platform where artists are actually monetizing from their talent.
Awesome, awesome. That being said, those were times where we transitioned from just notoriety to now everyone being able to monetize off of something, which is great, regardless of what the situation was. So another question that I know a lot of folks have, in regards to Audiomack, right? There's so many different genres in Latin American music. Everyone kind of refers to anything in Spanish, possibly Portuguese, as Latin music. So how does Audiomack work
Mhm.
with these different genres, right? What are the different types of strategies, characteristics, types of ways that you guys tackle or help out a specific genre? And what are the genres that you're working with now?
Again, like I said, we are curators. So that's why I say I'm a workaholic, because even when I'm not working, I'm working. I'm always doing research. I'm always learning, of all these different genres, because I like to pay their respect. There's a lot of times, for an example, where people will say this song is a trap when it's really a R&B,
Hmm.
you know? So for us, we have subgenre tags within the platform where we're manually, they are auto generated based on the way that we receive them, but we manually go in and change them once we confirm, like, actually it's this genre,
Mhm.
and we have geo driven playlists, and song recommendations for our listeners that target like what's popular in your area. For example, we have weekly 100 charts per geographic areas. So myself, that I focus on all Latin. You mentioned, for example, like Brazilian music. We don't just put Brazilian music, we call it brasilero, because someone that's from Brazil, that's how they're going to
Right,
understand it.
right.
So we want to give them that respect. And yeah, those are just some examples of how we like to, have these different genres available for the listeners.
Awesome. And if someone has a specific audience in mind, what is a way that Audiomack can help that specific artist connect to the audience that they're looking for?
tags, for example, you could click on it. So as a listener, you could click on that tag if you want to listen to them both specifically, or if you want to listen to, like I said, música brasilera, you click those tags and it actually shows you an entire list of all the songs that are tagged with that tag.
Gotcha. And then for the artist, on the artist side, how would that look instead
On
of?
the artist side, well, our creator tools, they're actually able to go in and see like all the of where they are being consumed the most, you know, so they can see, you know, they're listening to me in Latin America, et cetera, et cetera. And again, those geo charts, super important because it shows you what in that area is popular right now, what they're listening to, and how you could be a part of that as well.
Awesome, awesome. So building a fan base doesn't always just involve online, right? So how does someone like, or an organization like Audiomack help your artists or the artists that are involved with you connect with their fan base, whether it be offline or another type of avenue?
So as I mentioned earlier, you know, the Connect tab is a great tool for artists to be able to connect with their fans. Aside from that, listeners are also able to comment on songs or projects overall, and artists can respond to those comments as well. So that's a way to build that community within the app, as well as our supporters slash like Premier Access is another tool that we also have, which is an additional way where artists can monetize beyond streams. They can their fans can buy like badges, and in exchange, artists can offer like exclusive content or like exclusive merch, etc. And then Premier Access is artists have the ability to, let's say, 24 hours before their song comes out, release it to fans that support the project. So as a fan, you'll be able to listen to the project before anyone else on the platform with Premier Access.
Awesome. That's great. There's so many different ways that everyone's kind of connecting to their audience, whether it be social media or using platforms such as yourself. So I feel like tools like this give that extra helping hand to artists. Because at the end of the day, if they're not finding it on the platform they're already working in, Google searching something is, possibly something that might not be legitimate at times, or if it is, that's just another kind of website that they have to sign up for. So I think this is a great tool. Hopefully artists are able to take full advantage of something like this. So another thing is a lot of folks nowadays are doing cross-genre collaborations. So this could be, algo que se puede hacer within the genre or outside of the genre, but something that a lot of platforms don't necessarily do. So how does Audiomack foment those relationships, those collaborations within their genre, the artist, and then outside of that genre?
Yeah, so we've done like different workshops before in certain parts of like Puerto Rico, New York, in Massachusetts, where we have artists, attend. Even Orlando, we've done one before, where they attend, they learn more about the platform, what we offer, but it also gives them the opportunity not to just connect with other creators, but also producers or like directors and other types of creators that also benefit their careers. So by doing these events, it gives them that additional access to people within the industry that they can collaborate with.
Awesome, awesome. And I do want to plug in the fact that we're also collaborating on an event in Miami. So stay tuned for that. We'll have some updates for people that want to see what that collaboration looks like. Afterwards, we'll explain that collaboration. We'll show everyone what that possibly looks like. So another thing that you guys do is something that everyone is always looking for, right? Playlist. So how does a Audiomack user kind of connect to an Audiomack playlist, and also what you guys call spotlight placements? How can an artist dive into that? How do you guys help Latin American artists specifically for this?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, we have right within either the app or web, you can submit to trending. And that is a way for you to submit your song and get it to us so that we can review it and submit to trending and any like playlist placements, etc. But aside from that, like you mentioned earlier, we're very big on collaboration. So we have a lot of amazing partners that share our same vision. One of them is Smash Hits from Puerto Rico.
Right.
And we've recently collaborated with them for their Smash Mondays and their Smash Tuesdays, where, any creative, any artist can submit their songs and they have the opportunity to be part of their official playlist. And they do that live stream every Tuesday. And also for producers, they have Smash Mondays where they listen to producer beats and you can submit your beats for a chance of like, usually they have artists as guests and the artist is basically judging your beat, and there's the opportunity for the artist to, if they like your beat, to use it. So that's an example. Another example is earlier this year, we did a contest with Braiteado, where it's called our Open Verse Challenge, where same thing, artists can submit their verse to one of his songs, which we were doing Milicio remix. So we partnered with 1RPM, and the winner was able to receive a one-time, like one release distribution deal based off of this contest. So these are things that we actively do across all genres, and just always try to find innovative ways to support artists.
Awesome. And shout out to Smash Podcast, because I know that they also did an artist showcase recently. So not only is it online, it's also offline where people get the chance to perform, right? So these are things that you guys, through como que the back end, right, are pushing forward. If it wasn't for that initial contact with Smash, then possibly that showcase possibly wouldn't have happened. So that's amazing. These are moves that a lot of people are constantly looking for. And with organizations like yourself pushing for making these things happen, then artists have more of a possibility to get themselves up there.
Absolutely. And that's really what it's about, creating these opportunities and moving music forward.
So that's great. Going back to online, a lot of do-it-yourself artists, independent artists, really look for data analytics. So before it was mostly let's play it by ear, let's play it by audience. Now a lot of indie artists are starting to see the weight that data has, right? So what does Audiomack do, or how do they help artists to be able to capture this data and possibly use it to their benefit?
So as I mentioned before, we have within the Creator app and our web version, the Creator dashboard, that provides artists with data and insights, and it's totally free. Whereas, in other platforms, they might have to spend money to be able to get these analytics. We do offer this function free of charge, and they're able to see like what influencers are listening to their music, any placements and playlists. If they receive the cover of a playlist, they're able to see it there. But also those special analytics where they'll know like what territory their projects are performing the best within a certain time frame, and what people are listening to specifically and which songs are performing the most.
Awesome. This leads me to my final question, which is very important. Everyone always asks us about this specific type of question, right? They always go back to social media. Social media is big nowadays. It's necessary. You can't have a music career without social media. So that being said, how does Audiomack work with social media to be able to promote artists? What else aside from that? What kind of tools are there where an artist can leverage social media to be able to promote themselves and do a lot more with Audiomack?
Absolutely. So yeah, I think I touched on this earlier, the promote tab, where we offer like assets that are generated within the Creator app that artists can share. And it's like milestones of after you've reached 1,000 plays, 10,000 plays, 1,000,000 plays, like if you were added to a playlist, there's assets for that as well that you could promote across all your social platforms. We have like the story version of the assets that you could promote the song with the link. So that within the app is how we kind of work with social media, but from our end as well, as I mentioned, we have original content that we do, and we use our own social media to promote your music as well. You know, like we use what now is X to promote links to your music, to get our followers back to the platform to be able to listen to you. We do social media posts as well on Instagram, like our New Music Friday roundup, where we select those 10 songs that we really, really believe, you know, are going to perform well that week. And just other ways we always try to find, like on other social platforms, to be able to promote what's available on the platform as well.
So as you may know, there are some areas in Latin America that have connectivity issues. There are other places that aren't as prominently online as others, right? So in those kind of cases, what does Audiomack do to be able to kind of still keep the listeners on the platform?
One of Audiomack's biggest draws is its price. You know, although we do have a subscription tier, we have an option that's completely free. And with the ability of that, you could take millions of songs offline, where no data is required to stream. And the special thing about that is that, you know, offline songs are still counted and paid out to copyright holders. So for those regions where connectivity is an issue, they are able to listen offline.
Great, awesome, awesome.
Yes, I do want to touch on like our tremendous growth that we've been able to see across Latin America and regions like Mexico right now, where it's currently our #1 Latin territory. You know, it's amazing to be celebrating not only la música hispana, pero nuestra cultura durante este tiempo. And I absolutely take pride in being a Latina that is in this role where I'm able to help out creatives and do what I love. And, you know, my biggest dream was always to help creators, but also inspire the next generation, not only of creators, but of executives that will continue to move music forward.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to answer these important questions. I know so many people nowadays, como que estas preguntas, they are always asking them, right? The more we are able to answer these questions in a format like this, the easily accessible it will be to artists, and they'll be able to grow themselves. Again, Gineyda, thank you so much for taking part of this conversation.
Likewise, thanks for having me y feliz mes de la herencia hispana.
Gracias, gracias.